You know, whichever way you look at it, story after story came out of that weekend, and only yesterday up at St James's Park, where we knew the atmosphere would be quite incredible, out of this world, especially for the arrival of Manchester United against Newcastle United. It was a repeat of the recent Carabao Cup final, of course. On that day at Wembley, Manchester United came out on top, but Newcastle going so well under Eddie Howe, and apparently resurgent Manchester United going so well under Erik Ten Hag. Something had to give, and it was United who gave in the day. Manchester United. Afterwards, after Newcastle came out on top, Eddie Howe said, we won, but this was a no way payback for what happened in the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, it meant a lot. I think, it wasn't, the cup final wasn't really in our thoughts. It was about just trying to win this league game and maintain our positive feeling that we've had the last two games. So really pleased with the performance today. I thought we were excellent. Start to finish, the energy, the commitment given by the players, high level performance today. So really pleased with the players.
I mean, Martin Keown, Arsenal Invincible, with us this morning. Martin, to me, Eddie Howe got what Ten Hag wanted. More passion, more commitment, more drive, more desire to win.
St James's Park is absolutely rocking now. The atmosphere there yesterday was
fabulous.
Remarkable.
The fans are brilliant.
I thought someone was turning my television set up every time they got the ball. It was just a roar, I couldn't take my eyes off it. I just like the way, when they made those three substitutions to bring Joe Linton off the bench and really go for it, Gordon as well, I thought did well when he came on. You saw the strength in depth, you saw the quality they had. Almiron not starting, Murphy, decent player, by the way, under this manager. Looks very good in what he does. And they just keep going. Isak up top, Jim, is another level. But there's a drive and an energy, which they've got now in that midfield. Willock missed a couple of chances, but he put that header away, no problem. And they just sort of sucked over the line by their supporters. They've had a few tricky games at home early on. There's points they could have been in an even better position. Away from home, they're decent as well. So you look at them now after the run-in, Jim, they're really in top draw, top level form. Manchester United fell away, and when they're playing the top six teams, they're just too open. They don't stay in games long enough to get results. You always got a chance when you play against Manchester United, and when they go behind, you just look at it and you think, are there enough leaders, characters in that group to really pull it back? Not yesterday.
So, Mr. Jordan, you might be handing over £1,000
I think
to me
that's
in our charity bet.
I think that's
because
done.
Because you and a certain Danny Murphy scoffed at me when I suggested that Newcastle United might end up top six.
We did.
Simon, if they're ending up playing Champions League football next season, how ahead of schedule are they?
Oh, significantly, I suspect. I don't think even the most ardent of Newcastle fans would have expected Newcastle to be in quite the irresistible vein of form that they're in at this moment in time, albeit they've been a little bit less fluid at certain times in recent times than they were at the beginning of the season, when they were absolutely brilliant on the eye, when they really took it to Man City early on the beginning of the season, got a draw, but were the first team to have really taken it to Man City for a while. There's lots to like about Newcastle. There's not much they've done wrong since the takeover. And they'll keep on improving. This side will not get them to the Holy Grail as it currently exists. They need to keep on buying and going bigger and better.
What is the Holy Grail?
Well, ultimately, if you've got the Saudi Arabian money behind you,
win the Premier League.
We've now established your nation-state ownership, is to win the Premier League. And that has to be the ultimate goal. And they've got some gears to go through. But this is... They're harnessing and bottling this alchemy that comes from this irresistible force of fans being completely committed to a cause. They've got that at St James's Park, which means it's an almost awful place for other teams to play in, because the fans are so focused. And I'm pleased for them, despite people think that I have an objection to Newcastle. I absolutely don't. I think they're a wonderful football club. I just disagree with a slightly rabid section of their fan base that means you can't observe upon them without them taking exception to it. I don't like the ownership model. I'll never like the ownership model, and I'll never apologise for it. But on the field, there is very little you can say from who they've recruited to the development of the team, to the enhancement of the management side of things, from Eddie Howe to his team of people, Jason Tyndall, Dan Ashworth, they've got it.
And Eddie Howe's
right.
developing.
I just want to make a point about Newcastle fans, though, Simon. Sometimes you've been at odds with some of the things they've said. Newcastle fans, to me, are some of the best supporters in this country, because they're not hostile. They're not a snarling bunch who come to London and everyone's on tenterhooks about what's going to happen.
That's true.
They are a friendly, open,
they're
living
the dream, aren't they?
They're living the dream.
Loving every minute of it. I mean, Jim, I tend to look, with West Ham away, is that a tough game? I really think it is. You know, you're just looking at the fixtures.
On Wednesday night for Newcastle.
They've got two tricky away games. Brentford. Look at Brentford as well, Jimmy. That's another place to go.
Yeah, but Newcastle, neither of these opponents to Newcastle fear, nor should they.
No, but and then I think of 3 away games. They've got Aston Villa then to follow after that, which is, we know the form they're in at the moment. So they've got to keep doing the job.
Yeah,
he won't be listening to the pats on the back.
But irrespective, even if they were not to make the top 4, they were to make the top 6, which I think they absolutely will. So I'll be poning up that £1,000. I have no problem with that. That's
Lovely.
The bet you pay.
For
your money.
You're going to charity, yeah.
Well, you pay. You make your bets. You pay them up. Some people don't. You know, ask Tyson Fury. Does he pay his bets? No.
Do you want to do it today?
Ask Derek Chisora. He doesn't pay his bets either. That's the boxing world.
Double or quits today?
No, I don't actually, because of fooling his money. Right, but the point is this: is that Newcastle, irrespective of the games they've got to come against the West Hams and the Brentfords and whoever else they've got to play away, and Aston Villa, right, this team will finish inside the top 6. That is a remarkable transformation. They'll have done it with aplomb. They'll have done it moderately economically in comparison to what other people might have had to spend to get in that position. They'll have done it in a different way. Man City, when they landed with the new ownership, finished 8th in their first real season of power. If this team finished 6th and are in Europe, they can really kick on. If they needed to wet the whistle of their ownership model, they will have done it. The question for me then becomes a problem for Eddie Howe, because he will have set himself a pace that football fans can be quite unforgiving of, because if you don't keep that pace up...
Well, Amanda Stevely has already told us they're going to win everything.
They're going to win everything.
Well, nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
So ambitious.
No, I like that.
Ambitious.
Correct.
I like that. If they get top 4, Simon, and Manchester United get top 4, so it's conceivable. Which of the two is more enticing if you're a top player next season?
Manchester United, of course.
Do you go with that, Martin?
Yeah,
of course it is.
Currently, although there is a feeling though at Newcastle, because you're doing almost everything for the first time, so you can be heroes forever, can't you? And look what Eddie Howe's doing there. I mean, he's just a messiah up there right now, and it is. I always saw it as a sleeping giant. I know Simon thinks, "What?
I was in a coma.
Why is it a sleeping giant? It's not really that wealthy a club." I think it is. I think it could be enormous up there. The whole area is going to be regenerated.
But a sleeping giant based upon what? You had to have won something to be a giant, don't you?
Well, just in terms of the hotbed of football, passion for football. I mean, the players really have to sort of. It's difficult to live your life up there.
Expectation level, yeah.
But once you get it going in the right way, that momentum is like a force field that's taken them on this journey. And it could. I don't know where it's going to end up.
It'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise to me if Newcastle in the next year, 18 months, don't win something. I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
If they don't win a cup or they don't win something significant. Well, a cup will be the thing I think.
Well, what are they going to do now? They beat Manchester United yesterday. You mentioned West Ham. They're there on Wednesday night, Martin. They'll do themselves a big favour if they can keep that winning streak going.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.